The KitchenAid on your counter is not the machine your grandmother owned. In 1986, Whirlpool bought the brand from Hobart. Steel gears became nylon. 30-kilogram frames shrank to 10. And the real secret behind mixer longevity, motor grade, torque, drivetrain design, got buried under wattage labels that mean nothing. Only 4 stand mixers are still built to last, and what separates them starts with a betrayal most buyers never saw coming. In 1919, Hobart launched the first KitchenAid stand mixer for commercial bakeries, a machine built with a purpose that feels almost mythical today. These early mixers didn't just look solid, they were engineered for a lifetime of punishment. The K45 and K5A models, icons of the 1960s and 1970s, weighed in at nearly 30 kilograms, about 66 pounds, clad in thick, cast metal chassis that resisted flex and absorbed vibration. Inside, every critical component told the same story. Oilite bronze bearings, prized for their self-lubricating properties, supported the main shafts, while the gear train relied on full steel worm gears that could handle years of heavy dough without complaint. There was no plastic to be found in the drivetrain, no weak links, no shortcuts. A former Hobart engineer once described the assembly line as building a machine for someone's grandchildren. The service manuals from that era didn't mention planned obsolescence or sacrificial parts. Instead, they specified 6 fluid ounces of industrial-grade grease packed around the gears, a detail that seems almost indulgent compared to modern cost-saving measures. The result? Mixers that ran for decades in bakeries, church basements, and family kitchens, surviving everything from bagel dough marathons to sticky batches of rye. Field reports from appliance repair specialists consistently document these Hobart-era machines lasting 30, even 40 years with little more than routine maintenance. The tactile heft, the smoothness of the planetary action, the low, confident hum of the motor, these were signals of a machine built without compromise. For a generation of home bakers, the Hobart KitchenAid set the benchmark, a tool that outlasted trends, outperformed expectations, and passed from one set of hands to the next without losing its edge. Whirlpool's takeover of KitchenAid in January 1986, finalized after a federal court clearance and a $150 million cash payment, set off a wave of engineering shortcuts that would have been unthinkable in the Hobart era. The first sign appeared deep inside the Artisan and Classic lines. The steel worm gear, once a symbol of commercial reliability, was swapped for a nylon version. Service bulletins and repair forums call it what it is, a sacrificial gear designed to shear under overload, sparing the motor but dooming the gearbox to early failure. The logic, laid bare in internal memos quoted by repair techs, was simple. It's cheaper to replace a plastic gear than an entire motor assembly. But this so-called fuse logic quietly shifted the burden of repair and replacement onto the consumer. The cost-cutting didn't stop there. Bronze oilite bearings, which had cushioned the mixer's main shaft for decades, were replaced with Delrin, a plastic that wears faster and tolerates less heat. Technicians opening up post-1986 mixers found less grease too. Where Hobart packed in 6 fluid ounces, Whirlpool's revised spec dropped to as little as 10 milliliters. This reduction left the gears running hotter and louder, accelerating wear and shortening service intervals. Every change was justified as a necessary efficiency, but the real effect was to introduce planned fragility into a machine that once promised generational longevity. The betrayal isn't just in the materials, it's in the philosophy. Documents from the period make it clear. Whirlpool's leadership viewed the mixer as a consumer appliance, not a family heirloom. The result? A machine that looks the same on the outside, but inside, every corner cut adds up to a shorter, more disposable lifespan. Motor placement is the silent architect of a stand mixer's fate. When the motor sits above the bowl, as in most tilt head designs, every pulse of power travels straight down the column, channeling vibration and torque shocks directly into the gear train. Accelerometer tests show RMS acceleration readings as high as 0.42 G at the gear case in these head-mounted models, numbers that climb even higher when kneading stiff dough. Over time, this constant stress wears down bearings, loosens fasteners, and accelerates gear failure, especially when plastic components are involved. By contrast, bottom-mounted motors, like those found in the Bosch Universal Plus and Ankarsrum Assistent Original, anchor the heaviest part of the machine beneath the bowl. This lowers the center of gravity and isolates the drivetrain from much of the motor's vibration. Lab measurements back this up. Bottom mount mixers routinely post RMS acceleration values of 0.31 G or less, nearly a third lower than their head-mounted rivals. The difference is not just academic. It translates to quieter operation, less wear on gears, and a smoother planetary action that holds up after thousands of cycles. Belt-driven transmissions add another layer of protection. The belt acts as a shock absorber, stretching slightly under sudden load spikes and shielding the motor and gears from abrupt torque surges. This is not a marketing flourish, it is basic physics. A flexible belt can dissipate energy that would otherwise hammer the weakest link in the drivetrain. The result? Fewer stripped gears, less bearing fatigue, and a mixer that keeps its composure under pressure. In the end, the layout of the motor and the path of power tell you more about a mixer's future than any wattage sticker ever will. Wattage numbers on mixer boxes promise power, but the reality is far less straightforward. A 2023 Consumer Reports survey found that 68% of buyers believe higher wattage means more mixing strength. In truth, wattage is just the amount of electricity the motor draws from the wall, nothing more. It's a number that says little about what actually happens when dough stiffens or a batch gets heavy. There is no law requiring manufacturers to disclose torque, the force that keeps the beater moving when resistance climbs. The Federal Trade Commission enforces strict rules for audio amplifiers, demanding standardized power output tests. But for kitchen appliances, the only requirement is to list electrical input. That leaves the door wide open for marketing to blur the line between input and usable muscle. The difference matters. A C universal motors, found in most consumer mixers, lose torque as load increases. DC motors, used in commercial and some premium models, hold about 15% more torque under strain, delivering steady power when it counts. But you won't find that on the box. Instead, manufacturers plaster on big wattage labels, banking on the fact that most shoppers don't know the difference. Legal scholars have called for mandatory torque disclosure, but so far, nothing has changed. Until then, wattage remains a marketing tool, not a guarantee of real-world performance. The only way to judge a mixer's true strength is to look past the numbers and ask what's inside the motor and drivetrain. Number 4 belongs to the KitchenAid Professional 600, a rare survivor from a brand now known for plastic gears and short lifespans. Its 575-watt motor, paired with a full steel gear train and direct drive system, marks a sharp break from its siblings. Unlike models that rely on plastic failsafes, the Pro 600's hardened gears handle bagel dough without complaint. A Chicago repair shop owner puts it plainly, "If you want a KitchenAid that'll outlive the mortgage, this is the one." Field data supports the claim. Service records show an average field life of 18 years, with less than 2% returning for gear failures. The bowl lift design keeps the chassis steady under load, a necessity at this power. Even in an era of shortcuts, good engineering sometimes wins out. At number 3, the Bosch Universal Plus standard model is built for quiet endurance. Its bottom-mounted motor and belt-driven transmission keep vibration low. Accelerometer tests record just 0.31 G RMS during heavy kneading. This design means less shock, longer life. Owners routinely report 15 years or more before a belt change. The Bosch's longevity isn't luck. It's architecture that absorbs stress, not transmits it. Ankarsrum Assistent Original claims second place, shaped by decades of Swedish hand assembly and a design that puts the motor in the base, spinning the bowl while attachments remain fixed. This approach spreads force evenly, sparing gears from stress. Family bakeries across Scandinavia report Ankarsrum mixers lasting over 20 years, often handed down as heirlooms. The company's 7-year warranty on motor and drivetrain, 7 times the norm, reflects that confidence. Owners describe a machine built for the long haul, not just the countertop. At number 1 stands the Bosch Universal Plus with its stainless steel bowl. The upgrade does more than prevent odors. It completes a platform already known for its bottom-mounted motor and belt-driven transmission. Reports from church kitchens and bakeries show these mixers running 15 years or more before a belt change, with stainless bowls pushing field life past 2 decades. Weighing nearly 30 kilograms, they anchor themselves against the vibration and strain that wear out lighter, head-mount mixers. A pattern is unmistakable. The longest-lasting mixers, Ankarsrum, Bosch Stainless, share base-mounted motors, all-metal transmissions, and an engineering-first philosophy. Longevity isn't about branding or wattage. It's about the design hidden beneath the shell. Today, the quiet truth is that most mixers are engineered for replacement, not repair. As manufacturers chase margins, only a handful still honor the old commercial DNA, where torque, metal, and smart motor placement outlast branding hype. For serious bakers, durability is still a choice, if you know where to look.